Going on, guys? Just wanted to give you guys a June garden update. It's been a month since we last looked through the garden, and I just wanted to show you guys what I have growing right now, what I'm about to plant, and what I've been harvesting. This is our onion bed, and I was really skeptical of whether or not these would actually do well this year because it's my first year of growing onions. I used onion sets, and some of what I read said that onion sets sometimes don't always turn into bulbs, but I've been spinning these onions and they're coming out nice. They're bulbing out right now. And I put in a second crop of onion. Something I'm trying this year is to do a lot of succession planting, which means that you don't plant something just once. You keep planting more of it so you can harvest it throughout the season. Something else that I'm succession planting this year is green beans. I'm succession planting my green bean rows about a week apart, and I'm putting in beans where I've had something where a lot of nutrients have been taken out of the soil. Beans are a legume and they fix nitrogen into the soil, so they repair your soil and they prepare your soil for the next crop. So you get dual use out of green beans. This variety right here is a jade bush bean. They're looking really nice. I planted 3 rows of jade and 1 of blue lake. And I'm getting ready to take out some of these more heavy feeding crops that have been in the soil for a long time, like my potato bed and my garlic bed. And I'm gonna replace those with beans as well. I'm gonna do more shell beans, like lima beans and black-eyed peas. So I'm excited to show you guys those later on in the season. Both of those do really well in the heat. So the black-eyed peas I'm actually planting this year are some black-eyed peas that I got off of plants that were dried in Chios, Greece. So it was really interesting bringing those back and growing them here in the States and seeing them really thrive here. So this bed right here, I have, these are Chinese noodle beans, red noodle beans. Really excited about this variety. It's from Baker Creek. And these things apparently do very well in the heat, and they just are gonna climb up this trellis. Right here I have a few pepper plants. They're doing really well. I think these ones are poblanos. I have a bell here. And then in front of them has been one of my biggest challenges this year, my eggplants. They got attacked by flea beetles like crazy, and I've been doing everything that I can to keep them off. Just picking them off by hand. Diatomaceous earth once a week. I've tried neem on them as well in my pest control regimen, and they keep coming, but the plants, they're gonna make it back, I can tell, with the new growth. But a flea beetle problem has been huge in this garden this year. They've been eating up the potato leaves a little bit. I'm not worried about that. And they actually attacked my tomato plants this year, which is, I've never seen flea beetles eat tomatoes. It's kind of weird. At the edge of this bed, I got some Adirondack blue potatoes. We've been starting to harvest some new potatoes off that. They've been really good. This is our berry bed. All through June, we probably the first 3 weeks of June, we harvested a bunch of strawberries. They were really good. Now they're putting off runners, and I'm gonna let them do that. I think I might try to sell some plants off those. And this is our raspberry bush, one of them, and this is the first year that they've produced. Last year, I just planted these last year, and they're putting on some nice berries. I'm really excited about that. This is one of our blackberry plants, busting through the protective netting that I put up, and it's doing amazing. I'm really thrilled with these berries this year. You can see that they've been blossoming, so we are going to get some berries this year. Something I've also kind of had a challenge with this year is this straw bale garden. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here, or if the bales are just getting too hot, or what's going on, but these plants are not thriving. So if you guys have any tips on straw bale gardening, as far as like maybe what I might be doing wrong, go ahead and put those in the comments. But yeah, I mean, I've been fertilizing them. I don't know what's going on. The melons seem to be doing really well. The cucumbers, not so much. So I'll show you, come over here and show you my melons. The Jari melon plant. Those are doing well. Got more cucumbers over here. You can see the ones in the ground are doing much better in comparison to the ones in the bales. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know if the bales are getting too hot, if they're too dry, if they're too wet. It seems like they're moist inside, so I'm not sure what's going on. Watermelons have started to fruit on here. They're doing a little bit better than the cucumbers. I do have one on here. It's Rainbow Sherbert watermelon, so those things are starting to run. Pumpkins over here, starting to run. And my challenge number 2 this year has been squash, because squirrels have been eating my seeds. I've been trying to direct sow these things, and they ate them probably 4 times. So I finally did get some to come up. I just kind of like put this thing around them as they came up. This soil over here is real hard pan clay. Like, I just put down some wood chips on this last year, but it holds a lot of moisture. And you know, they're doing a little bit better now. I have some of these other ones. I decided to actually just build them an extra mound of soil on top of the soil, and that seems to be working pretty well. Alright, and I have a kaleidoscope kale over here. It's starting to come in. The rabbits ate it down a couple times, but it looks really nice now. I think this is like a mix between collards and kale. It's more like a tree collard kind of thing. I don't know. It's a perennial kale. These are apple tree. It's coming in nice. Show you what's going on back here. Our garlic bed. We'll probably be pulling these out of the ground this week. We got another 60 heads here. We've already harvested about 20. Alright, got our tomatoes in right here. Florida weed has been working out alright. I think I need to put some extra stakes in between some of these plants because they're just growing at all different heights. So one mistake I made this year is that somehow my labels got all mixed up and I didn't really know which varieties were which with the plants. So they're all different heights, all different varieties all through here, so they're all growing at different rates. So keep yourself organized, guys, so you don't end up this weird stuff going on. But this ground here was pathway last year, and it wasn't really worked. This row to the right, I cultivated more than this row, and you can see like a big difference in these areas that I didn't use last year that are just straight clay. And you can see that this plant, its roots are probably restricted somewhat, and it's just not going to get that big. Versus like this plant over here, it's doing real healthy. Alright, so back here I have some lettuces, a little bit overgrown. This bed's gonna get turned over. I'll probably put a couple squash in there. I got my peanuts all around the edges. Got some more of those kaleidoscope kales there. And back here I have my okra, my bamias. Excited about those. This year I grew quite a few less plants than last year. We grew like a shit ton of okra last year, and it ended up being kind of a little bit too much. But some of these tomatoes, man, they're looking awesome. I'm really excited. I think this is probably some sort of a beefsteak one, maybe like an ox heart. I'm excited to see which one. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. We'll find out what varieties we have here. Tomatillo is back here. Poison ivy. Yeah, they're getting real big. Alright, so back here I have my okra, my bamias. Excited about those. This year I grew quite a few less plants than last year. We grew like a shit ton of okra last year, and it ended up being kind of a little bit too much. But some of these tomatoes, man, they're looking awesome. I'm really excited. I think this is probably some sort of a beefsteak one, maybe like an ox heart. I'm excited to see which one. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. We'll find out what varieties we have here. Tomatillo is back here. We're getting real big. Over here, I just have a couple like random things coming up. Got some asparagus that I planted over here because I wasn't really sure what I was going to be using this area for. And I put a couple extra okra over here. It's our potato bed, which we've been eating a bunch of potatoes off of, even though the plants haven't died back yet. And they've been awesome. And I've got my grapevines over here, which are fried beans. I'm gonna end up trellising them up a little piece of chicken wire right here. Have you guys ever grown yellow carrots before? Amarillo carrots? I tried them out this year, and I've got kind of a funny story. Me and my wife, we were sitting at the table, we were eating these carrots that I harvested earlier that day. And I was thinking, you know, about my day. I spent most of the day weeding out in the garden. I kind of made this connection in my mind, like, oh shoot, man. I was harvesting a bunch of poison hemlock and Queen's Anslace in the yard earlier as well. And that was one of the main weeds in my garden pathways. And I kind of made this connection. I was like, are we eating poison hemlock? Because, you know, it's in the carrot family. And a lot of these carrots that I harvested were really, really small. So, yeah, we kind of had a panic attack at the kitchen table, and
we're still here.
We're still here. It was Amarillo carrots, so I might not plant yellow carrots anymore. I think I'm just gonna go with the orange ones. I just wanted to show you guys my front yard garden as well. These peppers are really thriving up here. They're really taking in to their own personalities. I've gotten really nice blooms off these Murasaki purple peppers. My broad beans are coming in. Any of you guys eat fava beans before? So one of the main Greek foods is called fava. It's like a pureed type soup thing. But it's kind of weird. It's made out of split peas instead of fava beans. So I bought fava beans one time and thought I was making fava, but I didn't make very good fava. I got some Hungarian hot peppers right here. Really nice. And I got this volunteer dill that came up. I've been really into just letting a lot of my volunteer plants come into their own. I found that volunteers a lot of times are the strongest plants that you'll find because they adapt to that condition that it grows in. So it's used to the Ohio winter. They don't always taste the best, but they look really beautiful and strong. So over here we have the Scarlet Runner beans. Kind of planted them as a dual purpose, ornamental and edible here. They're a really beautiful bean, runner bean. And down here, I have a couple of cabbage plants growing really nicely, actually, for holidays. The neighbors setting off fireworks. This is kind of my like designated like herb garden spot. I have some thyme here. I grew from seed last year. Got some Siam Queen basil growing right here. A holy basil. Tulsi, it's really nice. I just like the way it smells. And over there I have a rosemary plant and some more volunteer dill plants back there. Another thing that's been volunteering is all this borage. It's gonna be super nice. I'm gonna bring in a lot of pollinators.